So time frame of this episode recording is it's the day after the Grammys.
Yeah, what is your Grammy update for me?
All our girls won. Chapel won Best Upcoming Artist or New Artist. Sabrina won Best Pop Album. Charlie won Best Dance Album. I don't remember what Charlie won, but her Brat won a couple things. And Doechii won Best Rapper. And that was one that I was like the most excited for because it was the one I wasn't expecting. Because like a month ago, I was literally like, Doechii has the best hip hop album I've heard in forever. And it's easily the best, but I was expecting like Kendrick to do a sweep, but nope. He did win Best Song though, and that's hilarious because the song is just a giant diss at Drake. And I don't have any soldiers in this Risk game, so I don't care. But I know I don't like Drake. Well, never have.
There you go.
Also, Kanye West showed up. He wasn't invited, but he showed up with his girlfriend. She was naked, and then they left. A lot of people are like, I think it's like a kink thing, like exhibitionism, because she kind of looks like Kim Kardashian, and it's like a whole fucking performance or some shit. I don't know, but again, just like the other thing, I don't care enough.
What's up with the way he's standing?
I don't know.
There's something about it that's just weird. Like his legs are awkwardly far apart, and then he's just sort of like hunched forward. I don't know. It just looks strange. The whole thing is strange. It looks fake.
I agree. It's like he's like daring people to look at his girlfriend.
Yeah.
She showed up. I mean, she's wearing, I say that generously. She's wearing something. It's like
a
I think
sheet
it's just
of plastic.
It's like it's not fishnet. It's like
a fine mesh.
Plastic mesh nothing. She's naked.
Yeah.
Welcome to We Have That Podcast at Home, the only podcast that is that me espresso. I'm on brand Gamage. And for the record, I did write that espresso joke like weeks ago and I was planning to do it. So it's not just because she won a Grammy.
He's just a poser. He's a phony.
I want to get on the bandwagon. No, espresso is a great song and it deserved a win.
And I'm on brand Rachel, and I get to bring this voice back because this week we're talking about kangaroos. Each week we play Russian roulette with our success and spin a wheel to find out the genre of the next week's podcast. Last week our spun landed on wild cards, so we watched a terrible fucking film, Warriors of Virtue.
And I do have some movie facts for you.
Hit me.
Warriors of Virtue came out 1997, the same year as Star Kid.
Wow, this is quite the downgrade from Star Kid.
Also, the same year as Fifth Element, Starship Troopers, Event Horizon, Spawn, Mouse Hunt, Flubber. My point is, this movie had no excuse.
It had no business being anywhere near the other ones.
Fact checker says 1999.
What? It's
Warriors
definitely
of Virtue?
1997.
Warriors of Virtue is 97.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I looked it up also.
You're already muddling the water.
Fact checker. Don't bring us false facts.
Fucking Google only showed this.
There's a sequel?
Yeah, I don't want to.
Because I talk about the sequel at some point in these notes.
Yeah, there is a sequel, The Return to Tao. I watched a trailer, and I don't want to talk about it until we're finished.
Okay, I am very excited because I did not think there was a sequel, and I have a theory about what it is. So I'm excited.
So this movie is a critical commercial failure. It made $6 million in the box office. Do you know what its budget was?
Holy fuck. That's such a tiny amount of money. $100 million.
I mean, that doesn't make it seem as big now. It's 56 million.
Okay, but
$56
the
million.
ratio there is fucked.
You're correct. Star Kid, the movie we watched last week and we're fucking over the moon over, Star Kid's budget was $12 million. Let that
Wow.
sink in.
They really blew that shit out of the water, and by comparison, Jesus fucking Christ. Every part of this is lesser.
Also, for a kids movie in 1997, fact checker says. I mean, I labeled a bunch of other kids movies too. Flubber, Mouse Hunt.
Yeah.
Spawn is definitely a
all of
kids
them.
movie. Event Horizon, that's a kids movie. It's not a kids movie, not even a little.
If anything, this movie is questionably a kids movie.
Yes.
There are some later moments that I have and some moments at the beginning that I have so many concerns about.
Yeah, so let's get into it.
I'd like to start off with the title, and the way that everyone in this film says it gives really strange virginity vibes.
I mean, virtue is kind of like what people like at abstinent rallies say.
Protect
like
your
stay
virtue.
virtuous.
Yeah. Just the way everybody says it is kind of like awkward and breathy, and I think it's not intended to be a subtext in the film. I feel like it's just everybody in this film knowing that this word is used in that context, and they just can't unbias themselves to virtue, virtuous.
I mean, the movie is a mess.
It's a giant fucking mess.
Like, do you think that the whole premise of this movie is based because somebody accidentally said kangaroo instead of kung fu and they just went with it?
I don't know, because you could also argue that somebody said kung food instead of kung fu, and that's how all of this started also.
I mean, both are present. Like, it feels
people
like
were very high, and one of them made an error in speaking, and the other one then took off of it and was like, oh, what else could we mistake kung fu for? Kung food?
That is clearly what happened, and I'm dying on that hill.
So excited to dive into it.
So we do begin with something I kind of like, is that it begins with like the title shows up with like a brush stroke that makes like Asian-y calligraphy that's also in the shape of a kangaroo, which kind of tells you like what you need to know about the movie.
And that was also the peak of the film.
I mean, yeah, because like you see it and you're like, hell yeah, I'm excited for this. Fuck yeah,
yeah,
let's do it.
Vastly downhill from here. So keep as much of that hype energy as you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, after the Asian style calligraphy, we get the scene setting, very much like Star Kid, where it completely takes place in a different land, where we get the narration about how the land is dying because somebody's doing some shit with the life wells or whatever. Blah, blah, blah. We'll talk more about it later.
Oh, they say that in the beginning? Because I glossed over that.
Yeah.
I watched this movie twice and I'm still not entirely sure.
Yeah, unlike Star Kid, the opening scene where they set the backstory, not engaging or even mildly informative. There was about 2 info drops in there.
It don't really get better.
No, it does not. As we will go into, it gets just awful. My favorite part about the opening, though, is that the narrator goes, someone with the courage to, he's like, the world is dying and no one can save us. Someone has to have the courage to step forward. Long pause. I fear for him. Kind of sexist. What if the women want to help?
I mean, this is a kid's fantasy adventure movie in the 90s. And there was
with a male
no
protagonist.
girl.
They set it right the fuck up.
Yeah. I mean, they weren't going to make a kung fu kangaroo movie with a girl lead. That's insane. I can't believe you'd even entertain that notion.
Yeah, it's disgusting. I don't know why I even thought about it.
So getting past the title card, here we are. We're in the movie.
It's happening.
And I mean, the scene is set with like a busy working parent, which as is tradition.
Mm-hmm.
The kid named Ryan, he's reading comic books on the toilet. His pants are up, so he's not pooping.
Yeah, that whole thing was really weird because it gives the illusion that he's in there for a really long time. And I'm like his mom probably thinks he's in there because puberty's hitting, and he's just reading fucking, like, cooking ninja comics.
And speaking of, the next scene is like whiplashed into
The next
a
scene's
very
wild. It's so fucking cool.
it's a kitchen, and there's a chef, and he's doing like kung fu cooking. He's like throwing shit around and like doing balancing acts. You don't need to do that. You cook the food, make the food quick and tasty. That's all I want. I don't need this. It's like teppanyaki, but without any of the teppanyaki part. It's minus the tools, minus the grill, and it's just throwing food around.
Yeah, there's one point where he throws eggs like 12 feet across the kitchen. It's this weird little slow motion thing where he cracks them midair and shoots them into the pan. This entire scene really made me realize that I want the show MasterChef, but where everybody has to make things like they are doing kung fu the entire time. Because I would watch the shit out of that.
I feel like that's just a little too niche. Like, you'd have to get people that either have formal training or it's going to get kind of insensitive quick.
See, I just want it to get messy quick. I want it to become a clusterfuck so fucking fast.
So just as fast as we got into the scene, we are immediately into the kung fu chef, whose name is Ming. I didn't write that down until later. But Ming
want you to know I didn't realize what the kid's name was until I read your notes for this.
That's hilarious. I mean,
we're back to I was so upset about this film, I'm not going to pay attention to these weird details.
It's great. Like the fucking contrast, the yin and yang of these movies.
It's so good. I'm glad we did them back to back.
Yeah, me too. I knew it. Like once I saw Star Kid, I'm like, oh, this held up, and I'm like, this next one has to be Warriors of Virtue. I knew it didn't. Like I told you that the only memories I had of this movie were passing out, like falling asleep.
Yeah, that's
in
true.
the theater and at home. I don't even know why I have the VHS copy.
A lot as a kid to fall asleep.
I know, right?
Watching a film that's supposed to be about cool kung fu shit.
I think the issue is that this movie is like on paper the coolest movie for a 12-year-old. You're like, dude.
Conceptually, should be fucking amazing. Elemental kung fu kangaroos should be the absolute shit.
Yep.
It's almost like there's just too much good stuff in one place and it spoils itself.
I think the idea was too grand, and then they like tried to do too much, and then eventually just went meh. Ming was also in Big Trouble Little China. Thank you, because I actually put down on my note, I'm guessing it's not here,
no,
but I wrote down
there.
Is it?
Lower, yeah.
Oh, I did say I think that's the guy from
page.
Big Trouble Little China. Yeah. That's hilarious.
Googled
but speaking
of
kangaroo elements, Ming does go on to explain like a fantasy world called Tao with warriors harnessing the 5 elements: fire, wood, water, metal, and earth.
Can we talk about that? How the fuck are those the 5 elements?
I have in my notes here, my hidden notes, prepare to correct Rachel for being ignorant. Those are the Tao elements in Chinese mythology.
Okay, Chinese mythology is cooking. Wood, fire, earth, metal, water.
We did go over this several podcast episodes ago about how the Zodiac actually do have elements tied into them. Remember that?
No, not even a little bit, but I have been talking about it a lot recently because Lunar New Year.
Yeah, because I was telling you how I'm an Earth dragon because I was born in 88. I'm also an Earth Taurus, so I'm like an Earth symbol. We were talking about this, but all of these elements apply to the Zodiac too. There's wood, there's fire, and metal.
I just don't. They're interesting choices.
It's because you're a white bitch. You want everything to be the original Greek elements. Everything beyond that is silly and stupid, and you won't be having any of it.
No, fact checker, I fully agree with you. Centered around farming and survival. Wood, fire, earth, metal, water are they're all shit you use for cooking. Like giving life. It makes sense.
I mean, yes, of course, but so are the Greek elements. Like all of the elements are used everywhere. Like you could reduce it down to cooking because in this context it does kind of work.
Yeah.
But I mean, farming and survival, and also like all of those are how people are made up. There's iron in our blood. We're made from earth and water blood.
Yeah,
I
I
get
also
wood.
have wooden bones.
Well, I mean, I was doing the wood thing.
Yeah, no, I
think,
got it.
Yeah, I think like in like video games and everything, whenever they do wood elemental, it's also like a lot of air stuff because like wood helps with the air. So I think air kind of translates to wood if you're doing like a direct comparison. And metal, I think, is like to compare to the spirit, which is paganism. I don't know. I don't know anything about that, and I'm talking out my ass. Moving on.
Okay.
So my biggest issue with this scene is that he's whispering it to the kid on a stairway, like above the kitchen, and every other employee is like not working, and they're just like watching this happen.
Yeah.
But he's whispering. He's like, "Hey Ryan, there's these kangaroos with fire powers. Did you know that?"
Okay, to be fair, if an adult man was whispering to a child that just comes into our restaurant about kangaroos with fire powers in the corner, I would probably also be staring at this.
My next note is literally, I don't know why the kid is here. Do they ever explain it?
There's no, they don't. There's no setup for why he came here other than obviously him and this very adult male cooking ninja are kind of friends. And there's no real follow-up about that.
Ninja are Japanese. This is clearly Chinese inspired.
Okay, what do you call a Chinese ninja? That's not the start of a joke. That's a real question.
Well, I don't think they had ninjas because ninjas were essentially like peasants, farmers, like retaliating against the samurai lords. And I don't know if China ever kind of had anything like that. They kind of just had.
Spend an episode on samurais and ninjas.
Sure.
It would just be fun to talk about. Sorry.
Another whiplash scene. We go to a football game where the kid is watching football. He's the towel boy, and there's some jock rock song playing, and it's like this movie, like the tone in this scene is like this, like, yeah, sports movie, like very like we're gonna win the big game kind of fucking vibe, which is not how the rest of 99% of this movie goes.
Yeah, and they like really zoned in and narrowed in on it. This movie has an excessive quantity of slow motion scenes. But they really zone in on becoming a sports movie for a very brief period of time. It is never back.
The first slow-mo scene to happen, Brittany goes like, was that necessary? Like she turned to me and said something.
My exact words.
Yeah.
I was like, why the fuck?
And they don't improve.
No.
So
they get worse, actually.
So he gives the quarterback, Brad, some advice. Brad just spits on him. That's cool.
And then we get a wild fucking response to that whole experience. So let me spit on your shoes.
And then like we get to the like actual play, and it's like all slow-mo, and it sounds hilarious because he's like, Blue 42. Duh!
Yeah, it's super fucking weird.
I've never heard that in a football game in my life. There's no hike. It was just
yeah, it was quite the fucking experience. That whole scene was so odd.
Yeah, it's I mean, they're trying to establish something. I could tell that they're trying to like shoot for like this kid knows a lot of football, because I did notice later on in later scenes, my second watch through, is that he is doing like football moves and like dodges and stuff, but it doesn't touch on it. It's like you have to be kind of paying attention and bored out of your fucking mind to notice it.
To have noticed it, yeah. I also like during this weird sports scene, this movie does this thing where it starts a lot of lines of thought and then abandons many of them before the end of the film. One of them being, they very clearly make it known that he has a crush on the girl in the stands, because he goes from like, yeah, the team won, to looking at her, and there's kind of a slow motion of her cheering. And then it's, immediately, like, weird juxtaposition of sad, depressing music and him hanging his head in the most, like, comically sad style.
Yeah.
It was just very aggressively is like, he likes her. Like, we
And
could have been a
that
little
never
subtle
ever
about
gets
this.
resolved ever again.
No,
either.
it goes fucking nowhere.
So Brad does use his call. It's a good call because it wins him the big game. And then he just goes about his day. And later on, like, Ryan and his friend Chuck are like walking down the street and they see Brad. And then Chuck, his friend, is like, "Hey, that was Ryan's play. You should have given him credit." And then he comes over and he's like, "Yeah, hey, good job. That was a good play. Too bad you can't play." And this is the moment I realized Ryan's got a bum leg.
Okay, you missed it at the football field. When he spits on his shoes, he just goes, "Gimp." And that's the moment that I realized that he was
I didn't even notice that.
disabled.
Gimp. I mean, I actually did hear that, but I didn't know if he was referring to his leg. I thought he was talking about like his BDSM kind of disposition.
That was my original assumption as well.
So Brad invites him out to hang out that night, and it's clearly going to be like a trap. It's obvious, like, "Hey, yeah, come hang out with it." It's just like, cool, he's gonna like leave you locked in a haunted house kind of situation. I've seen it 100 times before.
Easy setup.
And then we go to the mom asks him about dinner, and she says, "How about Ming's?" And Ryan like scoffs, "It's Ming, Mom." And like the restaurant's called Ming, and I don't like it could be Ming's restaurant, and I don't know why he corrected her like that.
Yeah, it was a really
like it's like, "Hey, let's go to Denny's."
Specific, just odd fucking scene. It was very strange. I do like that in this film, this kid has a mom and no dad, because all of the 80s films we've watched, there's no mom and just dad. And I'm glad we're getting the reverse experience where she's the absentee mother instead of the absentee father.
Yes, fact checker. He does mention
his
dad. His dad,
I have a note of when I figured it out.
Away. Yeah, they do it like near the end of the movie or something. I don't remember. But
at some point he's talking to somebody by a river and mentions that he has two parents, and I was like, oh, where the fuck is the dad?
But we definitely see, like, in the 90s, early noughts, like, kind of a changing of the guard where it's like, all right, now all movies have a single mother.
Women are capable of being assholes to their kids, too.
Because it's, like, feminism. It's seen socially as, like, a more pathetic situation, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
So Ryan and Ming, in my opinion, have a very weird, unhealthy attachment.
Yeah.
Like, Ming brings Ryan to his studio apartment that's above the restaurant.
And then he tells him a majestic story about a moth in a cocoon. And I don't fucking understand why they're in his... Like, okay, if his mom... Hold on. Here's the timeline we're going with. They're at home. Mom says, "How about Ming's?" He says, "It's Ming, Mom," in a weirdly defensive tone. Then they go to the restaurant. At some point, this kid leaves hanging out with his mom at this restaurant to go into an adult man's apartment above his weird ninja kitchen. And they also sit weirdly close together. Like
I don't know.
Our cheeks could be touching close together.
This was like right before every parent was on the stranger danger radar of like, hey, no.
The amount of faces of people who get close to this kid throughout this film while talking to him is just like phenomenally high, and it's really weird.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's quite odd.
But I am glad you wrote the thing down about the moth, because I didn't. And like it does get brought up later and I'm like, well, shit.
Yeah, he has a fucking cocoon in a mason jar and he's like, "Let me tell you about this moth that I looked at and he died because I'm a ninja."
Yes.
I stole his cocoon. Okay.
So Ming gives him a book called manuscript, as I'm corrected later. And then Ryan goes to meet the big kids, and they're all on their bikes, not a driver's permit in sight.
I'd also like to note that I'm sorry. I read that I have an important thought here, and I was like, wait, this isn't what I was about to say. So now I'm wondering what the fuck. Oh, I'm sorry. The regarding the book called Tao, I had a thought while watching that scene. There's a correlation, in my opinion, between people who put those kanji symbols and phrases on their walls that just kind of mean like peace, love, and prosperity. And them being a terrible fucking aggressive person.
Yeah, man. I know exactly what you mean. Yes.
Because it's just of all of the people that because I noticed this at work, because I'll be in somebody's office and I see that they have these kanji symbol things all over their walls. They're always the biggest assholes.
Yeah.
Like, you're not trying to embody this at all. It's fucking strange.
Or display swords they got from the mall. Thank you, fact checker. That is also correct.
Yeah, I definitely don't have a sword that I got from not the mall.
I have swords. I don't think I have got any of them from the mall. No, wait. I got my Rurouni Kenshin sword from the mall.
Yeah, I was like, shut the fuck up. You told me a story about you going to a mall.
I've been to a mall before, yes. I mean, like, I have a bunch of, like, swords, but I got them from people. But, like, one of them I did, like, I want to buy because it's a replica of a sword. And I'm like, I want that.
Want that thing. No, I love owning swords. It's the shit. Anyway, all the big kids on their bikes, they also, not a driver's permit in sight, but they all have flashlights on their bikes, which I thought was weird.
I mean, it's the 90s.
I've never been so prepared on a bike.
They do a lot of sneaking around at night. You see,
so.
These are delinquents.
All right, what happens next?
So they're led into like a sewer substation. I don't know what this is. It's like is it like a pulp mill? I don't know what it is. It's just like it's a sewer and there's a big whirlpool, and I don't know.
I feel like my biggest question is, how the fuck do they know about the whirlpool that's like deep in this strange tunnel system drainage thing? I feel like the only way that they could know that is a parent had like a take your kid to work day, and those are one of those kids is their parent works there.
I disagree. This is clearly like a like urban thing where it's like you bring the next generation of kids into this place to show them. It's like a Devil's Playground for Eureka.
Okay, I suppose.
Like, you know, it doesn't exist anymore.
No,
but like Devil's
I know.
Playground was like that broke ass like train station like remnants that people just tagged at.
I have no fucking clue what you're specifically talking about, but the concept you are talking about, I get.
Yes.
And I could support that if that's where the fantastical glowing whirlpool has been passed down.
Because Brad does like direct us to the wall, which has a bunch of tag names. So it's like it is like a traditional thing that's been going on for who knows how long.
Yeah, that's fair. It was also in this scene that I realized the best friend's name is Chucky, and the person that I watched the movie with goes, and I quote, "No black person names their kid Chucky." And
so you're half right. There are people named Charles.
Yes, which is what we also
not
said.
Chucky.
But
that's hilarious.
Vehemently on the page of Chucky would not be the nickname for the child Charles.
Agreed. Yeah. It'd be something, it'd be anything else. Britt says that this is the set from Casper, but I don't know or care.
I'm trying to think I've definitely watched Casper and I can't even.
It might be worth a rewatch. Never mind. I don't care
We
enough.
can address that in another episode.
Can address that on my deathbed.
That too.
So Brad is making Ryan cross a rickety plank that's just above some sewer whirlpool, and I don't even know what this is or why we're here. He's got like he has the run Forrest run leg brace, so it should not be. It's not okay. But I did notice that I can't tell if Brad is actually bullying because he's also kind of being encouraging. Like,
okay,
yeah, come on, Ryan, you could do it. Like, and I'm like, that's not good bullying, yo.
No, I noticed this too, because it changes based off of the shot angle. But at one angle, he's like, you fucking, well, that doesn't curse this much, but he's like, you pussy, like, cross the beam. And then at the next one, he's like, Ryan, you got this, and reaching out towards him, like he's gonna grab him if he falls in. And I
like to
don't
think that
understand.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird tone, but like I like to think that it's the same kind of like, all right, we're gonna do one scene where you're doing this and another scene where you're doing
yes.
this, like the notes given to Willem Dafoe in American Psycho.
That was my exact thought also.
Yeah, where he records all of his lines, like being understanding, being accusing, and then like being like whatever, and then they just swap through them.
Yeah.
And it makes it more compelling. Like you're not sure how he thinks because it's like this. But I don't know why this movie needed that.
I don't think they were like, when they were pitching it, we want a bully, but we want a complex bully. Because, Star Kid did a great job of that. So
yeah, he's gonna take up 4% of the whole movie.
We're gonna flip flop his feelings so that you can't really decide, like, is he bullying him or is what's his face, because I don't remember his name, just thinks he's bullying him and actually he's being really fucking helpful. It's so dumb.
Yeah. So suddenly poo poo pee pee water blasts out from a big pipe. And shoots him into the whirlpool. And basically he drowns and wakes up in a fairy-like land and is immediately attacked by like some dude knights.
Yeah, what the fuck is this scene?
Yeah, like they're just like, oh, a kid, Brr, kill him. They throw a spear into the kid and it impaled his backpack.
A child appears. Could you imagine? Hold on. Let me paint for you an experience. Imagine you walk into your home and there's a 10-year-old in your living room and you javelin him in the chest.
Okay, that's a bad example because I would. There's no reason why there would be a live child in my house. It's a ghost.
It's a demon, and it needs to get out. I have a salt-covered javelin. We're gonna be fine. Oh. I want to know what stopped it, because he gets javelined, and it only really goes through, it's a fucking backpack with the small pouch and the main pouch. It only really goes through the small pouch. So I was like, calculus book? Is this an ad for fucking JanSport?
I'm glad you brought it up, because my assumption is that, like, he's got the book in there, but then Brittany pointed out on my second watch, like, the book isn't impaled at all. The book is fine.
Yeah.
So what indeed stopped the halberd?
I don't know. I think they examined some...
Thank you, fact checker. This is pre-bulletproof backpacks. For you in the future, there used to be a time when backpacks weren't clear and didn't need to be bulletproof because, I don't know, we had more trust in the system.
Okay, we're going to emotionally skip ahead a little bit. I'm not going to give details of what's going on. But so I have the thought, is this a fucking JanSport ad? And then later in another scene, there's a character that is just carrying the backpack above their head saying like, this is an offering. And it's almost as aggressive as the Ben & Jerry's ad from Star Kid, but JanSport. Yeah. So I was like, well, obviously this is a fucking JanSport ad and they were experimenting with bulletproof backpacks way ahead of the curve is literally word for word in the notes.
It's weird because like JanSport, you don't need to advertise it. In the 90s, there was no other backpack.
Maybe this is how that happened.
It was JanSport from the 70s on.
Yeah, the person that I watched this movie with said that JanSport died off for a little while, and I don't fucking know what the hell they're talking about. Because
I mean,
no?
I haven't been in school for a while, but like I remember we were selling backpacks for a bit, and like we got ones that weren't JanSport, so there's other games out there.
Yeah.
They exist.
They're all trying to copy JanSport, but yeah.
Absolutely, yes. So,
kid gets
anyway,
javelin.
the knights get their ass kicked by like some kangaroo man. You only see his eyes and like his silhouette or shadow. I actually don't remember. I wasn't paying attention.
No, you get one scene where you just see like a quarter of his face very, very close. And the costume design for the kangaroos is so weird to me because it is so skillfully detailed, and yet, like, when you look at it
Also-
closely, there's little hairs in the covering of their fucking faces, so they're like, it's fuzzy. But then when you step away, it's the fuggliest shit you've ever seen. So, like,
Yes,
technically beautiful, visually
it wasn't
vomit-worthy.
until the second playthrough, second watch through, that Brittany pointed out that the red one has like Justin Timberlake curls.
Excuse me?
Google it, fact checker. Pull up his curly, beautiful ramen hair.
What? How did I miss that?
I missed it the first time too.
What the fuck?
So Ryan is scared, as one would be, and then runs away before realizing that he can run. He's not crippled.
Yeah, there's no cripples in this land.
Yeah, clearly. And then his fear vanishes, and he dances around and pretends to play football, and completely like forgets that he was just almost impaled.
Yeah.
And then a little person tackles him. Said little person is named Mudflap. I don't remember. I wrote it down later, but he's played by the guy that was in the dream sequence of Twin Peaks. So
That means nothing to me.
if you know, you know. Rachel doesn't know, so she doesn't know.
Facts.
Anyway, that person is then launched into a tree by some like white girl who flows in as if on a skateboard.
Yeah. What the fuck was that? Because she just...
Like
There's
like you
no-
can't see the bottom part of her. There's no movement. She's like on Heelys or some shit.
Yeah. It's very, like, flowy elf, like, is kind of what they were going for, but it's uncomfortable. Because she just, like, there's no frictional force against her
Yeah.
movement. It's very strange. It makes, like, it feels like physics didn't know what to do with that scene. Yeah, it's just odd. Also,
Very.
she does the same thing where she starts talking to him and she gets extremely close to his fucking face.
All right, if you're a character in this movie, you're gonna get close to this kid's face.
There's, like, Gamage, I have to count on more than one hand how many times somebody gets close to this kid's face. I wish I had actually kept track of, like, an official count.
Oh my god, that toy is...
Ah,
The hair on the toy is...
fuck.
Thank you, fact checker, for giving us this.
Holy shit. It's so...
He didn't have a sword, did he? The fire one.
I don't-
Oh no, Brittany, that's the earth one. Because it's like a flower crown. It's like
Wait,
faded, but that's
no,
not
hold on.
the hair.
are you talking about the cover that she sent? Or the,
Yeah,
the action
I'm talking about the
figure?
action figure. She sent an action figure. That's not the fire one. That's the earth. The
that's
girl
the Earth
kangaroo.
bitch. Yeah. Yeah, because the Earth bitch looks like Winnie the Pooh. And then the dude
Yeah,
in the photo that you sent is the fire one.
Is the
'cause
fire
it has
one,
the
yeah,
loopy
with
thing that he
the hair.
spins. Is there any clearer picture? Because I can, like, it looks like a brain.
So this woman grabs Ryan and then flies away.
Yeah, okay.
And
What the fuck was that? She just grabs him, like, his shirt by the chest and then pulls him up by his chest and he just sort of ragdolls like he's being abducted by aliens. The way that they filmed that was very weird.
I mean, it's because he's a newcomer and people need to know. But we go to the evil people in this movie. They're like, they were the old citizens of Tao, but they're under some new leader guy. I don't remember or know if like the people are ever named. Everyone here is bald and has a goatee, though.
Yes. One has a
Everybody.
tattoo behind his ear.
The other one has another tattoo on the other side, too. I noticed that
Oh.
they were like, doing like a twin situation.
I didn't
But
even
one of
notice
these is Lee Arenberg. He's the guy who plays Grumpy in Once Upon a Time. And when I looked up, I learned that he's in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
He's like the hello puppet guy. I didn't know that those are the same person.
Yep.
he does have a twin. I don't know who it is. There's also some spider ninja bitch among them. She never really says anything, but like she seems like she would have been a neat kind of villain, but we never really touch on her.
Yeah, she, I feel like, would have been a significantly better villain than the antagonist that we're about to meet.
Yeah.
Also, the whole bad guy set deal and just all of their outfits feels very, we're reusing the set and costumes from Power Rangers.
I mean, I kept seeing the spider bitch, and always like my instinct, like when you see something and your brain identifies it, always identified her as Rita Repulsa first. Every time I'm like, there's Rita Repulsa. No, that's not Rita Repulsa.
Like, hold on.
And so the only non-bald one who has like hair has to answer to the Emperor, Komodo, who descends from like a swing throne.
Yeah.
And he has long hair. He's the only other one with hair.
So when I saw him, why is he the lead singer of My Chemical Romance?
Dude, do not dog on Gerard Way like that. I will.
Do they not look
halt
similar?
This podcast. They don't.
What? Fact checker, can I get a side by side?
No, he looks closer to I wrote down who I think he looks closer to. No, he is a teen that listened to him. I agree. He did listen to My Chemical Romance. I will say that.
I can agree with that, but it just fucking cracked me. Also, I'm sorry. I need to talk about the swing throne before we move on.
Absolutely. I would like you to talk about that.
It's like an oyster shell, or like a clam shell was opened, and you took the bottom half and stuffed a bunch of purple blankets into it, and then there's a weird, like, oval pillow thing that is like iridescent, like a pearl, but that's all hung from the ceiling, so it swings around when people sit on it and lay on it.
Yeah, it is weird.
It's really fucking odd.
So Komodo, they're talking. Komodo says there's nothing to fear because nothing dies, which is a statement, I guess, and then drops the guy down the pit. And I can only assume that Komodo killed a soldier to ensure that he's the only one here with hair. Because now we're back to everybody else is bald. And
I think that's a valid assumption.
I mean, there's
I
math.
Can't
there's
find
math.
Any other reason? Any other motive?
Science is dictated by math, and the math works here.
Yeah.
So they rummage through Ryan's backpack and then find Ming's book.
When they do this, they
sorry.
pull a bunch of shit out of his backpack, and there's something with a hole in it. I was trying to figure out what like handheld portable gaming device it was, because it's just like this big thick thing. The person that I was
like
with thinks
gear?
It was a Walkman.
It might have been.
But those are the theories. Okay, you can't even bullshit me. They do look similar. Like, I'm not
I see
full of
somebody
shit.
else though. I see. I mean,
I 100%. Hold on. Let me guess who you see.
Yeah. Yes. That is who I saw. I don't know his name because
his name
I don't
either. For everybody else, I just sent a picture of Aro from the Twilight series.
Is his name Aro?
Yeah.
It looks like Aro is just cut off.
No, that's actually it.
Okay.
Okay, here's my thing. Obviously,
Sure.
This movie that we're watching is from 1997. Twilight is from, I think it says 2009 in that photo. I am thoroughly convinced that this man copied this character's whole vibe for the inspiration, because they have the same homoerotic vampire vibes.
Yeah.
Like, just exact same. Where they're just a little weird and spend a long time getting close to your face and touching your hands and talking and just, like, being fucking uncomfortable.
I wrote it down later, but I want to address it here. His speech patterns are
So strange.
young, energetic theater kid Donald Trump.
Yeah.
He talks like if Donald Trump was a theater kid. I'm not kidding. Like, look up his monologues. They're okay. Like the way that they like the inflections, like the pauses between words, the murmurs, like it's fucking there.
Yeah, the cadence of his speeches is so fucking weird. It's so strange.
Yeah, so
I can't even. I'm trying to find something to compare it to because I feel like I have something in my brain that would explain it, but it just it's escaping me. Okay, so then we go to a new scene where the flowy bitch now has him in a boat, and she goes into some like backstory and shit of getting info from him. But why the fuck did she fly him away just to get in a boat? I don't understand.
I didn't notice that, and I'm glad you asked because I don't know either.
It seems really fucking weird.
Her name, floaty bitch, is Alicia, and she expositions that Komodo is harvesting the energy from life springs to stay young. She talks about the warriors of virtue and that they are ruse. Ryan says, warriors? Kung Fu? And nobody mentioned Kung Fu, and I don't know why he immediately jumps to this.
Yeah.
I wrote down here in my notes, this movie is hard to take notes on. It's so much bullshit. Like every now and then you get a glimmer of how good this movie could have been. It's original for sure.
It's funny that you put it's original for sure, because initially it was giving me very Ninja Turtle vibes, and then it goes aggressively into a Star Wars ripoff on many different levels.
It was definitely shooting for Ninja Turtles, but like in the 90s, this is the like 80s, 90s, I think Charlie Day on from Always Sunny in Philadelphia puts it best, where he talks about how like you can see kids' cartoons and you could see what drugs were big at the time. How like we go from like kind of like 60s, 70s where like it's clearly acid and everything's kind of magical and like round and colorful. And then all of a sudden cocaine is introduced and you get like these like Ninja Turtles and Street Sharks.
Street Sharks is so fucking good.
Street Sharks is so good. If they made a movie,
Sharks. I would lose my shit if they brought Street Sharks back.
Yeah.
All right, we gotta get through this. Let's move on.
Ryan meets Master Chung, who explains that they need Ming's manuscript book for reasons. I don't actually think they ever explain why.
Other than they want him to read it.
Yeah, everybody wants Ryan to read this fucking book. Ryan doesn't have it. So, yada, yada, yada. Info dump every couple minutes. I'm not even exaggerating. The villain in this is very fun, but he's not menacing. So like
not at all.
This villain could have worked for a different movie, but this movie is like trying to be serious, even though it is kangaroo avatar kind of thing.
Yeah.
But this villain isn't menacing enough to make that work.
Yeah, I would agree. It was kind of an odd choice. It just doesn't work.
And you already said it, homoerotic vampire vibes.
Yeah, it's just part of why it doesn't work.
Theater kid villain. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, homoerotic vampire.
Ryan meets the Warriors of Virtue, who I will not be referring to by name. They have names. They're like Chinese names. But I'm referring to them as elements because I could not be further fucked about this.
That's fine. I never caught their names either.
The metal one is the coolest. He is played by legendary Doug Jones. If you know, you know. It's explained that the water one is the leader, but he quit because he's equally as uninterested in this movie as I am. No, it's because he killed somebody, and that's a big no-no.
Yeah.
The fire one speaks somewhere in there, and he speaks like fucking Batman, like Nolan Batman.
Or if you play Jack and Daxter, it sounds freakishly similar to the Oracles, to the point where I looked up all of the actors that have ever been an Oracle in Jack and Daxter. No correlation, but it is suspiciously similar.
I also looked up the voice actor because I'm like, I think he plays Dr. Claw in Inspector Gadget. Also, no. Ryan looks, I forgot to mention this. Ryan looks like budget Elijah Wood.
Yeah, he does.
And I stand by that. If you're like, no, because that's Lord of the Rings, Google The Good Son, which is an old movie where he's a kid and his parents adopts young Macaulay Culkin who like tries to murder him to have the mother to himself. It's a weird movie. It's like an adoption horror movie. I don't recommend it.
It's like an adoption horror movie.
It
I
is,
don't
though.
recommend it. Yeah, it's like Orphan, an adoption horror movie. Oh, fuck.
What a weird niche. If I had a nickel for every movie, I'd have 2.
Yeah, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that I have 2.
Ryan is talking to Alicia, and then is kidnapped by Komodo soldiers.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty sure it was the ninja lady, and at this point in the film is where it was predicted that a slightly homoerotic fight would happen between Alicia and the ninja lady.
Well,
It kind of
kind of
does.
not. Yeah, sure.
It's not totally off.
I mean, she's in red at the time, but we'll get onto that.
Yeah.
So they're taking him away,
purple.
but are met by the Wateroo, who looks like Ron Perlman.
I laughed so hard when I read that note.
Well, because
I fucking lost it.
Because Ron Perlman started, like, Ron Perlman's a big name now, but I remember when he was just Beast in the Beauty and the Beast, like, TV show, and he looked just like the Wateroo, but with, like, curls and, like, whiskers. And then all of a sudden he's, like, in movies, and I kept being like, there's that Beauty and the Beast guy. What the fuck?
There's that fucking cat-faced motherfucker.
Yeah.
Oh, I laughed so hard. I can't even
He does, though.
To you. No, he absolutely does. It's totally on point.
Yeah.
Okay. So slow motion. We've talked about this once before.
It's not just slow motion.
It's not even like...
If it were slow motion, I might have been able to stomach it. It's like choppy 5 frames per second slow motion.
Well, if you...
It's enough to give you a headache.
I started analyzing this because if you watch it, it's not even really slow motion. Like, they're not really moving slower. It's actually quite fast. But it looks like they filmed it at like a slower real-time speed, sped it up, and then added this weird, like you said, like this strange frames per second that makes it feel like slow motion. And it's like choppy and gritty and weird. So it's fast, but not, but is. It's
and it's
so off-putting.
Yeah, and like every time like you see this too, like everybody has long hair and the hair is like in their face, so you can't see that it's the stunt double every time.
Yeah.
So Ryan's like, "Oh, you got the book, right?" And the water kangaroo says no and then leaves. Ryan gets mad and then yells at the sky. He says some kangaroo slurs, and the wateroo just like jumps back down to take him back to the town or city. I don't know what it is. It's like a riverside like village.
Do you remember the filmography of him jumping back down to rejoin Ryan?
No.
Because it's just weirdly climactic, and he just sort of does this like flipping into frame, lands on his feet really aggressively, and then whips his head over his shoulder. But the sound effects and music that they choose to use for that whole scene is like, it's almost worth going back and watching because it's fucking hilarious.
No, I will not hold you up to that.
Yeah.
So they have a bittersweet reunion, and I noticed that Rue always has some like poignant wise shit to say, but he still sounds like fucking Dr. Claw. So it's like giving like, there was always wisdom in your heart. And it's like, you cannot tell me that with that voice. I don't know if I should be afraid or like inspired.
Both. Mix of both.
Yeah. Throughout the movie, we keep seeing this water buffalo person and a rhino man in the background. I don't think we ever get their names. They're just fucking there.
Oh, actually, no, he calls them directly by name later. We'll get there.
So they transition the scene, and there's like a monkey man screaming, singing, and then we fade away from that scene too. And I don't know why this is here.
Oh, wait, is this the scene where it's... Okay, let me paint this for you. Again, clam bed, pearl pillow. Komodo, the homoerotic vampires laying in the middle of it, holding the bald man's hand and talking to him about shit while he's in his bed, and then asking him to come closer, and then just like, he was like almost licking his ear while he talked to him and held his hand in the clam bed.
Yeah, they are like
in his
They
sex
are like
swing.
snickering through this and like smiling
Yes.
and laughing their asses off, and it's clear that they're like repeating the script and like they think it's awful, but like they kept that shot.
Yeah. It's so fucking funny.
So then we see that Alicia is actually Komodo's drug bunny. Like she's
hardcore.
she just
She's a
hangs
tweaker.
out and yeah. So she's bad.
Yeah.
And then Mudlap, that little person, tricks Ryan saying that he stole the manuscript and hid it. And then we get some like weird Return to Innocence like music video of Mudlap betraying Ryan. It's all slow-mo and sucks. The master does some like heart collapse technique with a stick on a knight that like is there to then tries to grab Ryan. And then we go to the Ruse who have infiltrated Komodo's castle to get the book. I don't remember them talking about this. They just kind of like, hey, we're here now.
Yeah. I don't remember that either. I was very... In my
like,
brain,
why are
I
we
was like,
here?
I guess this is a type of logical step, but I don't know narratively how we arrived.
Yeah, nobody said anything. And it's just 3 of them, by the way. So they're there to get the book, but it's a trap, which is crazy because I didn't know that these people were going to be here, so I don't know how the bad guys knew that they were going to be here too. So it's a trap. They're all strewn up in chains, and then Alicia steps out to mock them. That's who I thought it was. Is Komodo looks like a diet Hugh Grant is what I was thinking. He says he's making kangaroo soup.
Which he gets so detailed, and I'm going to further circle back around to the elements are about cooking. Because otherwise,
Sure.
how would we start this film? And I refer back to my previous statement of we drop a lot of things that were set up at the beginning of the film. But so far in this film, what we know is kung food. The elements are suspiciously close to cooking, and now he just listed a detailed recipe for making kangaroo soup.
I mean, the elements are
very
close to cooking
food-based.
because the elements are in everything. Like, that's kind of the whole
I'm just saying.
fibers of what elements are.
Okay, yeah, but me
So-
kicking a fucking pan of rice to flip it is not part of that. So I'm just saying it's really adding on. You know? By itself, I'm agreeing with you. But in context, food.
Yeah, so he does some creepy shit, makes some schizophrenic rants. His cadence, I put down, sounds like youthful, energetic Trump.
Oh, this is also where I realized he is wearing thigh-high leather boots.
He changes his outfit a lot. Like, sometimes he's in, like, these big pajamas, and then sometimes he's in, like, Mortal Kombat, Shao Kahn robes.
Yeah.
So the Rooster dropped down some spike pit. The fire Ruse summons a tiny flame on his finger, and you see here, like, he controls fire, and this is the only fucking time you see it.
Yes.
He's not a firebender. He's just like, I have a lighter finger. I have a Zippo finger. That's that's
okay, their elemental things don't really come up fucking ever.
yeah.
There's weird little snippets of time, like when they get introduced, and then in this moment and then there's another time where the Earth One throws petals at somebody, but the rest of the time they're not really a thing or useful, and it's so fucking strange to me.
Yeah. So they're plummeting towards a spinning blade. The metal Rue is able to stop it with his metal ring, and then he loses it. They go through a tiny hole. I don't know why that tiny hole's there. I don't know what it's for, but they escape.
It's a Star Wars ripoff.
Absolutely.
They fall down the fucking tunnel, and then he climbs into the tiny hole to get out.
Yeah, just like the Star Wars.
Yep.
So Ryan's having a heart-to-heart with Master Chung, and he's like asking if his leg is going to suck when he goes home.
I didn't even catch that, by the way.
It's because I only caught it my second time because God, this movie's hard. We got to get through it.
Hold on, but follow up on this before I forget. Is his leg normal when he gets home? I feel like they don't ever cover that.
I don't think it is because like the power is like inside of you, not you're outside. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
You wrote down Gambage. This is where you got your engagement photo idea.
Yeah, they do a whole thing where during this heart to heart where Ryan's face is just floating in the abyss of the background, and it reminded me of you guys' engagement photos. And then he gives him
that wasn't
really shitty fortune cookie fate advice where he's like, you will continue to be you if you keep continuing to be you. What?
Your lucky numbers are 5, 19.
24 and 6.
Suddenly, Komodo just jumps out and fights Master Chung while Ryan runs away. I hate this part. So Ryan runs away, and then the spider bitch like shows up to like get him, and he shoves dirt in her face, whatever. But then Ryan runs back to Master Chung during the fight. I don't know why he ran away if he's just gonna come back.
I don't know. He's
But
a weirdly
regardless,
indecisive kid.
Ryan gets his foot stuck in some hole, and then Komodo cuts a pillar to crush him, and Master Chung jumps in the way and dies. Whatever.
Yeah.
The Roos are fighting the soldiers. Earth Roo throws flowers, showing that they have other elemental powers, but who cares?
Mm-hmm. Ryan gets
like
kidnapped.
A shitty version of Pokemon. I like that now.
Yeah. Ryan gets kidnapped and wakes up. Mind you, again, he's a child, maybe 10 or 12. He wakes up in Komodo's bed, which up until this point when watching this film, I've been emphatically referring to it as a sex swing. And the way he wakes up like fully starfished in this dude's bed with his arms and legs stretched away from his body, and it's just creepy.
We don't know how we got here, by the way.
Yeah.
Like Ryan is like, oh no, Master Chung's dead. And then all of a sudden he wakes up in a bed like,
yeah.
I don't know.
And then fucking Alicia talks to him about how the Wateroo killed her brother. And she doesn't want Ryan to be pissed at her. And then Komodo comes in and he does the same thing where he gets creepily close to the kid's face and starts stroking his fucking face. It's weird.
Yeah. But Komodo wants Ryan to read I still don't understand the plot. He wants him to read the book. I don't know why. Is it some kind of like never-ending story thing where Ryan can like control the narrative and change the world based on...
I don't fucking know. It never explains if it's like because he's other from being from the outside world.
Yeah, they call him newcomer. It is very like never-ending story coded, but not well enough.
God.
I lost my shit at this scene. So I was literally doubled over, and Brittany had to like pause the game because I was like laughing so hard. But the book is blank, and like Komodo's like, read the book. What does it say? Ryan's flipping through the blank pages and just says, shit happens.
My favorite part of this is every other character in that scene repeats the words, shit happens.
Shit happens. Shit happens.
Shit happens.
But then Komodo is pissed and flips Ryan onto the bed to, I hope, murder him, because he like flips him backwards. So it's like if this were like a rated R movie, I would expect this to go very differently.
Yeah.
But Alicia grabs Komodo with her sleeve because she has sleeve powers. We know that. And then the evil spider ninja bitch that's always been around just stabs her and dies.
Also called it because she stabs her and then it's like, nobody can touch my man. And that's why she stabbed her.
Yeah.
Not
so
quite
Komodo
a bitch
screams.
fight,
but... So Komodo screams and Ryan runs away. Ryan sees the water buffalo. Fact checker told me the name, Willie Beast and Mosley, which makes sense because he does say like some Willie Beast Mosley's thing while he's running.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking, I don't know what that is. Because they never say their name. So like you're just supposed to know it because of the comic book that came out with this movie. I'm making that up. I don't know if that actually happened, but it's bullshit. You don't know. They never say it. It does not count. So he yells at them during his escape. They're chained up and surrounded by soldiers, but since Ryan yelled at them for help, they just break their chains and fight the army off like they could have done that the whole time.
Yeah.
This is the scene, by the way.
Weird.
This is the scene, by the way, where like Ryan's doing like the football run and like
moves.
the dodging, basically doing the play that he talked about in the beginning of the movie, which I feel like if it went kind of slow motion and it kind of showed like his eyes like narrowing, this would have actually worked out as a kind of a narrative thing. But they didn't do that. They're just like, oh yeah, he's doing this, whatever. Next scene. Ryan goes to a tree and cries.
Looks like shit. Terrible fake.
Yes. Mudlap feels bad and wants to help, but he also kind of tried to have him killed, so who cares? Fuck him. Ryan goes to the kangaroos to show them that the book is empty. The Wateroo grabs his sword to go to battle, and it's like a big piss icicle. It's like a yellow crystal thing.
It's
and
so
like
fugly. It's awful.
It's not good looking.
It's so bad.
So they go to fight Komodo. Komodo does a warriors come out to play. And it's funny because, get at the warriors. You wouldn't know. You're young. So he laughs like the Joker and bounces around and then multiplies into 5.
Yeah, he's like a Hydra. You take one down and 5 appear.
But nobody's taken one down yet. He's just like...
I don't know. You don't know what happened in his oyster bed.
Yeah. So each Roo has someone to fight here. So everybody gets like a one-on-one fight. And in an epic 10 frames per second battle takes place. Oh my God,
for so long.
It's so hard to watch because like nothing's... It's like watching like... like a karate fight that you downloaded and it's like kind of choppy. And it's like... Ugh. Yeah, it's not interesting at all.
It's a karate fight from 2004 that a parent who didn't know how to use a fucking camcorder filmed. It's terrible. It's like a phone video.
There's like some fun bits in this fight, like they kind of use the kangaroo like physiology like against them. Mm-hmm. Like there's some like fun ideas, but the choreography still sucks and the shot sucks. So
my favorite part about this fight is at one point one of the Roos fighting him just goes, "You're just an illusion, Komodo."
Yeah.
And
yeah,
it was just such a weird thing to say because it came out of nowhere. They just paused fighting for him to say it.
So Ryan's still crying with the book open. I don't know why. And then he hears Master Chung's voice. I wrote down Chief because like in the first time I just wrote Chief every time because like they never really introduced him or show his importance. So I'm like some throwaway character, but he ended up being more. So suddenly he can read the book and there's words on there. And the book basically says murder bad. And he realizes that Komodo loses his power when he kills someone. Does that make sense to you?
No. It was really fucking confusing.
Okay, I'm glad
once
that
you murder somebody,
college graduate was like, what?
Yeah, once you murder someone, you lose all of your desire to murder other people? I don't know.
So, the water Roo beats him, I think. It's hard to tell because all the Komodos vanish and he does like a final attack. And then the real Komodo then pretends to be the Master Chung and then chokes out the water Roo with the other Roos there. I don't know why they don't stop him.
Yeah, it was
so
odd.
Very. So Ryan comes out and rips the book up, and then Komodo blows him up. Maybe he just like an explosion happens on Ryan. But Ryan says like, "Come together," and then they come, and then the kangaroos all take off their medallions, which have been like very important the whole movie.
Yeah,
I'm
we've definitely
guessing.
Gone into it, and it's been explained that these medallions have a Voltron power.
Yeah, it's out of nowhere. They're like, quick, the medallions. They take out the medallions and put them together, and then they fuse into energy, and then a hole opens up at Komodo, and like hellfire bursts out. Yes. And this whole Captain Planet X Machina that was never established makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, I can't. You've summed it up exactly as I would.
Ryan is dying. Komodo is reborn, innocent and without memory. And he's like, I don't know where I am. And the Roos are like, you're home because they accept him now.
This is where my theory about movie 2 is, because I was like, wow, what a fucking solution. Give the bad guy amnesia and accept him into your fold. Movie 2 is him coming back, like his memories coming back. And the struggles of trying to decide to stay good or continue his evil life that had been put on pause. That's my theory.
All right. From the trailer, I can tell you, no, he's not there because
Damn it.
It's in the future. All of the Roos have died. The metal one is out there somewhere, and he's like a monk that's like hidden away. There's new warriors of virtue. None of them are kangaroos. There's no kangaroos in the sequel.
Okay.
From what I could tell, I didn't actually watch it. I just watched the trailer, and they're like, yeah, no more kangaroos. They're like, there's the fire one. He's just a guy. There's the water one. He's also just a guy.
What the fuck?
That takes away all of the fun. Like now it's just a Power Rangers movie. Who cares?
Yeah. What the fuck? I'm so excited to watch this after this.
I'm not going to watch it.
No. I mean the trailer. I'm also not going to watch the film. I just want the trailer.
So the life spring is saved and returns or something. I don't know. I don't know. But Ryan does die, and then all of a sudden he's back at the plank of wood in the real world. He doesn't even look
Yeah,
confused.
he
He's just like,
dies and respawns and just totally understands. He's like, oh, yep, I'm back.
yeah, he's just like, it's not even like I'm back here. It's just like, no time has passed, like no thought has happened.
Yeah.
And then his friend says again, let's make like
line.
Tom and Cruise.
It's so
And
good.
it's just a great line. I'm gonna start using it.
Yeah.
Ryan's like, sure, and then throws the spray paint into the sewer pool, and then Brad whines about it, and then the poo pee pee water breaks the plank, and he's stuck. His friends don't give a fuck.
No,
and
not
like the
a single one.
The girl that Ryan is into is there, and she doesn't like. There's no interactions with them at all.
There's
She's
zero
just like,
follow-up.
ha, Brad, and that all right, goes nowhere.
Very strange. And then the next clip is like outside his house, and it's his mom pulling up, but she is pulling up like she's gonna drive through the fucking garage because she pulls up so fast and stops very quickly. And it's the establishing shot and the way that she talks to him when she gets into his room to check on him. It's the fucking morning, and she's coming home from work. What the fuck does she do for her job? And where is the dad? And then, so she like goes up to him in bed, and he's all like tucked in and waking up from the morning in his late night in the Rue world. And he asks her how work was, and she really awkwardly answers, I sold 12 houses. We're set for life. She's a realtor?
Yeah.
Overnight?
Well, she sells haunted houses, so.
Are we sure that she's not a woman of the corner?
A woman of the corner.
Lady of the night?
I was thinking she just like, time for me to go to work again. And then she just goes to like the local arcade and just fucks off to pretends that she's going to a job because she doesn't want to be a single mother. Because the father's clearly somewhere else making money.
Because, it's that or she's a prostitute. There's no in between.
It's got to be one or the other.
She's pretending to be a realtor, or those 12 houses is just code for 12 men.
I also want to point out, after this point, like once he's back at the plank of wood and like does the let's get out of here and he leaves, every scene at this point is like a place they could have ended at and it would have been fine. Like every scene's like, it gives like the kind of like the, where you watch a movie and it's like the end and they kind of like, like do like a ha 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 or like give a wink or something and then it just kind of fades to the credits. Every scene could have been that, but they just do it like 8 times.
Yeah, pretty much. And then he notices that the chef's childhood moth cocoon is in his window. And I'm going to refer back to why the fuck is their relationship so close that he is either okay with climbing up to his window and sticking a moth cocoon in it, or he's in his room in his house setting a moth cocoon on his window. Regardless
the fact that he
of
knows
which
where
entrance,
he lives, that's not okay.
Yeah. And did this overnight while he was sleeping?
Fact checker did say that she looked at the plot line. Komodo wanted to reel the real world.
What?
And then when did they cover that? He does say at one point, "I want to be free," but they don't explain it outside of that bit. So it's like in the plot on the summary of the back of the movie, but they never say it in the movie, so it doesn't happen. This is a movie. It's self-contained. Everything that happens in this movie is what it is. We can't fucking read between the lines. No, this is a kids movie.
Just doing our best.
Yeah, there's more in the ending, but I don't care. Credits roll. We get some fucking awful Christian rock song for this kung fu kangaroo movie.
Kung fu movie. I had a thought today. So I watched this movie last night, and when I finished it, I had the understanding that I would need to digest this movie for a while before sitting down and talking about it. So I'm grateful that I watched it yesterday. And then I woke up this morning and I realized we never see the fucking chef again.
Yeah, it's...
There's so much of the beginning of the movie that starts a plot line in his day-to-day life just gets totally abandoned.
Yeah, I want Ryan to go for like crab cheese puffs and pot stickers, and Ming's just like, so you have my manuscript. What do you think of it? Oh,
That
I
would have been
ripped it.
so good.
I ripped it to shreds in a fairy world.
Yeah. Yeah, this ancient relic you've given me, I destroyed.
That's my new
kangaroo.
headcanon. Since we're not actually including the plot and we're supposed to read between the lines, this is between the lines that I'm reading right now. Is this happened?
This is how this ended. You know what? You know how you were saying that there's a lot of different ways this movie could have decided to fucking end through these multiple scenes?
That's right.
Would not a fucking good one that could have wrapped up so much as him and the friend ditching the stupid pipe thing to go to the restaurant? Seems like that would be the way to end this, because then you don't have the weird scene with the mom.
Yeah, like he's just like, let's get out of here. And then they go, and then they're at the restaurant, and they're like laughing, and Ming's like making them broccoli beef, and like, I'm Walking on Sunshine's playing on in the background, and the credits roll. I would have been like, that's stupid, but I wouldn't have had to sit through like another 5 minutes.
Yeah, we could have ended this so much faster.
Yeah, fact check is right. 2 kids in the kitchen is too manly. Too many.
Too manly.
I thought she was going to say too manly, where it's like, this was a 90s movie. None of that, but too many.
None of that. Oh, fuck. All right.
Let's get to some music. Let's wrap this bitch up.
For the love of God.
Number 4 on the Gamage Rabbit list is...
Yes, hyped.
Is Penelope Scott. She would have been more appropriate like last week or the week before that. But I'm sure that by the time this episode airs, Elon Musk would have done something new. Mm-hmm. I say this because she has a song called Rat, which is explicitly about Elon Musk. It's her biggest song, too. It got like TikTok famous. Allegedly, the original song name was Elongated Muskrat, which is a great nickname.
That's awesome.
And it's very it captures kind of how I feel, where it's just like, you were supposed to like take us to the promised land, like we were in love with you and you betrayed us being a piece of shit. At one point she says like, you wanted to be Tesla but you're just another Edison, and that's Elon Musk. Her sound is very unique. Google says she's pop. That's wrong. Wiki says she's indie folk, chiptune, and electric clash, which is much more accurate. It's very 8-bit sort of melody, and her singing style, at least to me, is very Sprechgesang. Sprechgesang. I learned this. It's a German term that translates to spoken singing. Okay. So it's similar to like operatic recitative, where pitches are sung, but the articulation is loose and rapid. Have you ever seen like a musical where they're like talking and like music's happening?
I
it's
get
like
what
that.
You're talking about, yeah.
But that's kind of how she sings. It's like borderline like Riot Girl, where it's like very like aggressive kind of. Mm. But in addition to that song, like other songs that are my favorites are Cabaret. A lot of true crime is good. It's because it's about like, I listen to a lot of true crime, and like, let me tell you something. Ted Bundy was stupid and kind of ugly. My favorite song is, I think, Cigarette Ahegao. She has a lot of quotable lyrics.
Is that the one you're going to suggest for the week?
Again, I'm suggesting the artist.
No, I know.
And I'm telling you my favorite songs.
Off point.
Yeah, okay. Cigarette Ahegao is I think, that's the one that like always brings a smile to my face every time it comes on.
Okay.
A very, very unique style. Like I said, it's very different from like what I recommended the last 2 weeks. Cool. But everything here is going to be like a yo-yo pendulum, like whoa, different kind of sounds.
That's why I'm extremely excited, because I feel like I'm kind of pigeonholed in music right now, and I'm hating it.
I'm here for you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. My recommendation for the week is Bad Man by Blackway. It gives very Into the Spider-Verse vibes of music, or not Into the Spider-Verse. Oh my God, what's the first one called?
Into the Spider-Verse?
Okay, then yes, Into the Spider-Verse. I don't know why I thought I was talking about the second one. The first
one. I also
with,
didn't like the music in the second one.
I mean,
I picked that up too.
I liked the music in the second one, but not nearly as much as the first one.
Well, like the second one is like all Metro Boomin, and I don't really like it that much. Sorry.
I mean, that's okay.
The first one, like, What's Up, Danger? Jesus Christ.
So fucking good. But Badman Blackway gives What's Up, Danger vibes.
That is good enough
And
for me.
I'm
Thank you.
a big fan of it. Yeah, just to touch on Spider-Verse for a minute. First movie, entire album slaps. Second movie,
Yes.
specific songs are very good.
Like the song where Miles is being chased through the Spider Society, that chase song is
so
fucking good.
There's
but every
some
other song,
really good ones. But yeah, it's just it's not as many. And they're not as diverse.
Yeah, it's because like the second movie's album was entirely like one guy featuring other people every now and then.
Yeah.
Where the first one was like a whole anthology of like different artists and different flavors. Like it has variety to it. It's a nutritious meal of a soundtrack.
Well,
and the second one's just kind of like, can I just get a lot of fries?
The second one's also significantly more melancholy, which I think the more melancholy the song, kind of the better they tended to be, because I think it fit the style a little bit better. But the first one, I feel like, goes through a flow of, like you said, they're completely different artists, but it went through a flow of emotion. So it wasn't just all hype or all low. But yeah, all right, Penelope Scott, and then you said specifically your jumping off point song is?
Cigarette Ahegao.
Cigarette Ahegao.
For those who don't know what Ahegao is, like my mother being like, what? Ahegao is the anime face you make where like your eyes kind of roll back and your tongue's out and you're making like a sexy smile. And it's supposed to be like a post like climactic face on a woman. It's a hentai term.
And mine's Badman Blackway. Okay. Thank you for listening to Gamage very intensely express what Ahegao is. If you liked what you heard, or you wished you hadn't heard that come out of his mouth, please like and subscribe on whatever your most favoriteest podcasting place is. If you want us to talk about a thing, email us at whtpah@gmail.com. You can also follow us at We Have That Podcast at Home, all one word. It is indeed spelled correctly. Or whtpah on Blue Sky. I recently told somebody about our podcast and the title of it because they were asking. And they asked where they could listen to it, and I said the whatever your most favoriteest podcasting place is, and they deadpan looked at me and were like, "You say that a lot?" The answer is yes, every single week.
I did want to thank me for the use of our theme song, Sofa Swing Stupid, off of the album Radishes Stole My Wallet. It's available to download on iTunes, so long as your IP is routed from Wyoming.
I'm glad that you clarified.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so get NordVPN. I'm kidding. Don't get that. That's stupid.
No, it won't route you to Wyoming.
Get a VPN. I don't know if I trust NordVPN, honestly. I say like the episode before they sponsor us.
Next week, NordVPN.
All I'm saying is I'm a shill. I will do anything for money. I am sexy baby wants money.
Sexy baby wants money. That's actually Gamage's OnlyFans handle.
It's my autobiography book.
Sexy baby wants money, and it's just you wearing a diaper on the cover, but it's black and white, so it's tasteful.
Yes.
Next week we will be tackling the illustrious and fine art of comedy, bitches.
All right. Thank you for being here. And I have been Off-Brand Gamage. Thank you for listening to We Have That Podcast at Home.
I have that kangaroo at home. Actually, you have that kangaroo at home.
I did have the action figure of the water one. I don't know where I got it, but I don't think I have it anymore, and I don't care.